Hey, just Ron. Welcome to my shop. Got another project going. Got a 13-inch board, and I've laid it out. I'll get up closer to it. But I want to make a clock. I don't know why. Everybody's got a cell phone with a time on it. But I want to make a clock. So stand by. Stick with me. Okay, so I cut it, found the center, marked the quadrants, 12, 3, 6, 9, put that on there, drew us around it, so I'd know how big a hole I needed to cut. I got my little arms, and I think I'm going to end up with about 3/4 of an inch border that I'm going to play with. And I know I'm going to do some inlay, and I got some coral, and I got some copper patina, and I got everything I need. So the other side, I found the center, and I'm going to use my glue chuck. And glue it on there. But I'm going to go ahead and cut it round on the bandsaw because I got a brand new bandsaw blade. Okay, we'll put on my chuck. Tighten her up. Good. Now, I'm going to do the glue chuck thing. I like the glue chucks. Always have. I'll back it up with a hot glue bead. Alright, find the center. Alright, I'm on the center. Weight it down for a little bit and then I'll get it chucked up and we'll start turning. Alright, let's chuck it up. Come on, baby. It ain't gonna take much. I'll make it perfectly round. Now this is gonna be the bottom. So I'm gonna drill a hole all the way through so that the little clock mechanism will poke through to the other side. Then I'm gonna countersink it so I can put the motor, they call it, up in the wood. And then I'm just gonna give it a little shape, not much, just make it smooth because I do want to put a finish on the back. But I'm going to make the hole big enough that I can turn it around and chuck it up. So get going. Okay, so I got a 3/8 inch Forstner, and that's going to make the hole big enough for this to slide through. So I'm going to drill it all the way through, and it'll go right up in the middle of my chuck. It's not going to hurt nothing. So stand by. Alright, I'm all set up, ready to go. Well, that's about 200, 300, 400. Okay, I'm through. Perfect. Alright, so I'm switching over to a 2-inch. This is not the 2-inch, it's already on the lathe. But you could take one of these fine diamond steel credit card size sharpeners, and if you put it in there on that flat spot of the Forstner and hold it flat, you can touch up your Forstner bits and keep them nice and sharp. Now I've already done the 2-inch, just thought I'd throw that in. Okay, so before I drill it, I need to know how far I want to drill it. So I took the width of this mechanism, and I want about, I don't know, 3, just enough to get about 4 or 5 threads sticking through the front part of the bowl right here. So that means I need to drill it in about 1 inch, and that will countersink this into the back. So here we go, 1 inch, and 1 inch on my Forstner is just past, just bury the blade. Alright, so here we go, nice and slow. Still running about 400. Not putting too much pressure on it. And I'm almost there. Call that good. Okay, so I drilled a 2-inch hole. I need about another little over a 1/4 inch more in diameter for that motor mechanism to fit in here and also allow it to catch my chuck. So I'm going to get started on that. All right, so I'm doing that. Alright, I'm not quite there. I probably got a 32nd of an inch for this thing to countersink, so I'm going to keep whittling at it. Right. There we go. It's in there. And if I measured it right, I should have enough threads poking through the other side to make this work. Not, I'm gonna have to redo it. Alright, I don't know if you can see it. Let me move this. But I cut into the wall a little bit so that it would match my jaws on my chuck. And you might can see it just barely right there. But anyway, the rest of it's flat, but I did cut in so I'd have something to grab. Okay. That was light and easy and all that, but I'm going to be working way out here, and I want a little more safety for working out here and just working off a glue chuck. So I had an old Morse 1 taper, live center, that I'm going to chuck it up in my drill chuck and cinch it up a little bit, tighten her down. It's not in my way no more because I'm just working on the flat stuff. This hole is already done. And now I feel a lot safer. I think I about got the back. I just kind of wanted to like a nice taper here. Leave this part full thickness. And I got a scraper that'll take that tear out. So I'm just going to smoothen it out with the scraper, and then when I flip it around, I'll angle, and I should end up with about a quarter, 5/16 rim around it. Take the weight out of it, looking good. Alright, I've been hitting it a little bit with this scraper. I think it's time for sandpaper. That is smooth. I got it to 320. But I'm going to stain this cabernet. Oh, I forgot to hit record. But basically I'm putting cabernet wood stain on it, and I'm gonna let it soak in. It says 3-4 minutes or so, and then wipe it off. I haven't put any Yorkshire sheen. All I've done is sand it to 320, so I might see what a little sanding does to it after I get it wiped back off, you know, because I'm going to coat it with something shiny. This is just a stain. It doesn't really finish the wood. It just stains it. So I'm going to let that sit, and we'll see what happens. Man, that's pretty. I like that. Now, I don't see why it wouldn't hurt to put any Yeah, I'll give it an hour. Well, it's looking good, but I forgot about the hole. I gotta get that darked up. Nice. I like that. Go ahead and get the outside while I'm at it. Some of that's going to get shaved off, but ain't going to matter. I can't wait to see what the... I'll show you. I got this. I think that's going to go good together. I'm going to use this to make the 12, 3, 6, and 9 on the front. We'll see. Okay. Now, I learned a lesson. If you stain it and then you hit it with Yorkshire grit, it takes some of the stain off. So it made it smooth, but I restained it again over the top. Now it's smooth, and when it completely dries, I'm going to put a finish on it. Let's see what a little bit of shine juice would look like on it. Shiny, but must not be completely dry. Okay, so guess what? I flipped this around and my chuck won't open up enough to grab it. So I gotta go to plan B, which means I'm gonna cut this off the glue chuck. And since this glue chuck is old, I'm going to turn this glue chuck down so I can turn it into a jam chuck. So when I flip it around, I'll jam it on there and bring my tailstock up so that I can finish the front of it. No, I'm not happy, but working with limited resources, sometimes you have to improvise. Yeah, I'm still sawing. Alright, I got it off. So what I'm going to do is measure the inside of this hole. And then this glue chuck has been through hell and back a bunch of times. So I'm going to whittle this down so it barely fits in this hole. And then I'm going to put it on there like this and bring my tailstock up. I think I got it. That'll work. Just got to bring my tailstock up, smash it real good. I'm not worried about this hole because I'm going to be working from this hole out. Good. Look at there. All I got to do is face it off. And then I'll take it off, do my inlay work, put it back on and finish it up. Alright, we got smooth. That's 320. And I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with that dimple right there, because I want to brand a fleur-de-lis right here, so that's got to be flat. So I'm probably gonna have to just power sand that flat. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Almost. Alright, so I wouldn't want anybody to get screwed up telling time, so I got a level on my bed, so I know that's the bottom. So I'm going to make a mark here and a mark here, and then I'll join it up over here. And then I got another angle thingy that I'll find the other one. So once I get the dots made, I'll drill some holes. Alright, I'm going to drill it. I got them marked where they're all about the same. Perfect. I'll make them all this depth so the rocks will sink in there and they'll be covered up with the epoxy or super glue or whatever clear stuff I decide to use. Alright, so I got a little super glue, medium. I'll put some in the bottom. Then I'm going to fill it up with these rocks. And then I'm going to pour some over the top of it. Kind of fill up the hole. There we go. It's full. And it's trying to bubble out of there. I think it'll be alright. Let me pop that bubble. Oh, it popped. Alright, I'm good. I'm going to do that 4 times. I'm going to hit it with a little activator. And I ain't going to mess with it. A couple hours. Right now it's super clear. And it's hardened on the outside, but I gotta let it cure all the way through. and then I'll chuck it back up there and smooth it out. Alright, it's getting dry. I can't wiggle them. So what I gotta do now is just shave it. And I don't know what the inside of these little coral stones look like. And we'll find out. But then I'll stain it. Put the clock thing in there, then I gotta paint the hands. But I'm gonna burn a fleur-de-lis. I got a branding iron. I'm gonna brand a fleur-de-lis with the point pointing towards noon. Right in the middle. And I don't know, might look good. Okay, so I got them glued in there, and when I started spinning it, a couple of them blew out. So I'm gonna redo it, kind of fix them up a little bit, and then I'll put it back up there. Alright, so I fixed them. They're smooth now. And it's sanded to past 320. I used some steel wool. So put some stain on it. This stuff goes a long way. You don't want to get it on you. I'm just going to stain right over the rocks. It'll wipe off of them. Anyway, you get the picture. Alright. It's all coated. Now all I do now is just give it 5-10 minutes and then wipe it off, and it should be cabernet. Okay, so all I'm doing now is I got this copper paint. It actually has copper in it, and I am painting it around the outside and letting a little bit bleed over to the front. Now I gotta let this stuff dry completely before I make it turn into a patina. I just want a little bit to carry over to the front to kind of give it an outer border. Alright. All I gotta do now is wait. Alright, I'm pretty much done with the lathe, so I'm gonna clean up my branding iron. Make sure it's got a good clean surface, because I'm gonna get my torch and heat it up. And then I'm gonna brand it right there in the middle with the tip of the fleur-de-lis pointing at noon. So let me get it heated up and we'll brand it. Just want to heat it up even. And it doesn't have to be cherry red. And you only get one shot at this. So I'm going to take my time. And when I get it hot, I'll point the camera back down there. And we'll watch the smoke. Alright, it's getting there. Alright, let's do it. Perfect. Straight up noon. Now I'm gonna daub that off, get rid of the, and then I'm gonna paint the inside of it with that same copper paint and squirt some patina on it. Alright, so there it is. It's all branded on there. And it's almost cool enough to mess with. I'm not going to touch it just yet. Because I learned my lesson. You smear that black carbon around and it don't come off. Now all I got to do is just paint it on the inside. You got to be careful. I don't want to go outside the lines. It's tedious. But if you take your time, you can get it done. Anyway, got it going my way. Okay. Now I'm going to let that dry. And then I'll just give it a couple of little splotches here and there. And then I'm going to spray this stuff on it. Some kind of acid. And you can see that I have the patina going around the edges now. And you don't want to touch it right now. It'll peel off. So this bowl or clock is going to get coated in lacquer. I don't need the lathe anymore, so I'm going to hit it with the lacquer front and back. And then I'll put the clock mechanism in. And I have the hands on them patina as well. Alright, so I painted it and I just splotched it and squirted some of that acid on there. Maybe we can get a better look. But it hadn't started changing yet. Whoops. It'll take probably an hour to get the green that I got around the outside of the bowl. But I'm close. I'm real close to putting it together and, well, spraying it, then putting it together. Alright, it works now. So now all I'm going to do is just coat it with lacquer. And then I'll put pictures up at the end. Alright, so there it is. And so far it's keeping good time. So I hope you enjoyed it. I had a good time. Fits in the back nice and neat. I'm happy. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, like and subscribe. And thank you for visiting my shop.